What's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Reality Talk. And we're going to listen to Reality Talk news. So, Dolly Parton is a beloved queen of country singer, has died at 80 years old. And I'm going to ask you a question, y'all. Let me ask you a question. It was a rumor that she was battling with cancer and she had to cancel one of her shows. She had to cancel her residence in Las Vegas. So Dolly Parton was a beloved queen of country whose philanthropic efforts was as brilliant as her music talent has died at the age of 80. Entertainment Weekly confirmed that the Tuesday at the rep of the singer shared a statement on behalf of the global icon of humanitarian and the rhinestone life that shines bright enough that the world can see. Dolly will ever stand as an inspiration but not only through her timeless music and prolific songwriter, but also with her warmth and kindness and made us feel like family. The statement read, Dolly Parton legacy was a love of one, compassion of resilience with the 7-decade career. She inspired multiple generations of artists and fans in her music, and unwavering commitment to making the world a better place. Her songs will continue to resonate with people of all ages. Her philanthropic work will have listed impact. Parton's nephew, Brian Silver, will also share a video on Instagram. Now, she was standing with Black Lives Matter. So she had proceeded in the death of her husband of 59 years, Carl Thomas Dean, who died last year. Parton's 7-day career been in music, film, television, business. One of the best-selling artists of history, over 100 million records worldwide. She recorded 49 albums that spawned 26 number one hits sit on a Billboard country chart, the most of any female artist in history. Parton was also one of the most decorated singers with 11 Grammys and 45 nominations, 3 Emmys and Animal Academy Awards, 5 Golden Globes nominations, and a Tony nomination to 9 to 5 the musical. So additionally, she has a star of the Hollywood Walk of Fame and was induced into songwriter of the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Country Music of Fame. So the country singer made her doubt of the actress of the 1980 comedy 9 to 5. Critically acclaimed, performed opposite Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. Was working women was conspired with overthrowing their sexiest bosses. Dabby Coleman. 2 years later, Parton portrayed a brother owner with a heart of gold in 1982, the best little whorehouse in Texas, starring Burt Reynolds. And then also on a small screen, and she made hundreds of appearances between her own Dolly Parton show 1970s television special with Cher and Carl Burnett, Hannah Montana Connell's Miley Cyrus, and Parton goddaughter that made for television movies like a 2021 primetime Emmy winning Christmas on the Square. Then in 1988, Parton established a Dollywood Foundation, a nonprofit organization that intended offering scholarships to local high school students in Surrey County, Tennessee. 7 years later, it expanded to an Emanation Library, a program that distributes 3 million books monthly to children under the age of 5. Now, in 2016, after the wildfire ravaged her home state, Parton lunch, My People's Fund had raised $12.9 million to provide financial assistance to nearly 1,000 families who lost their East Tennessee home recently in 2024. She donated $2 million to the victims of the Hurricane Helena, $1 million for her own personal money, and another $1 million through the Dollywood Foundation. So Dolly Rebecca Parton was born on January 19, 1948, in one room cabin without electricity and plumbing along of Little Pigeon River and Pittman Center, Tennessee. She was the fourth of 12 children born in Robert, a poor farmer, and his wife, Avie. From the early age, Parton exhibited true musical talent. I was starting making songs before I even started school, and my mother used to write them down for me. The Rising Star said in 1971, I wasn't really that familiar with any other music besides gospel music then, because we did not have a radio at the time, but we didn't have a television until I was almost grown. So all the singing I heard was all the singing we done in church. So, but the little girl always dreamed big, and far behind the tiny town of Pittman Center, I used to put a tin can through a broom handle, stick it down, and cracked it out into an old cabin. Partially recall a 2008 commencement speech at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and of course of my mind's eye. I started a stage with my guitar, singing my heart out with this microphone, and was those not chickens out there in the yard. It was my audience, and it was a no-rag dress that I was wearing. It was a dress with all glitter with rhinestones. At the age of 10, Parton had her first break when her material uncle, Bill Owens, took her to Knoxville to meet some supermarket businessman, Cass Walker, who put the precocious child on his televised regional variety show 3 nights a week every summer until she was 18. So about a morning after she graduated from high school, Parton drove 200 miles west to Nashville. I went down to the music row to get my contract or audition. She recalled the very first interview with the Music City News in 1967. I really wasn't bashful at all. I was always had a mouth, and I was just amazed of my mind that I was wanted to do anything, and I ever made of my mind, and I usually did it. So I came here to Nashville to get a contract. I didn't come to get a job or anything. I just came to record. So the talent blind quickly caught the attention of the country music star Porter Wagoner, who was Parton hit on his syndicated television show. Her September 1967 doubt for the home audition, $45 million. The young singer remained a regular on the Porter Wagoner show for 7 years, during which he had heavily hand guiding her career. So as of Parton, Wagoner released 12 albums during this time. She also put out songs as a solo artist. In 1973, she broke out with Jolene, inspired by the redhead who flirt with the blonde husband, Cardine. So the following year, she parted ways with Wagoner to launch her solo career, a bittersweet decision she detailed in what she turned out to be a biggest song of her career. I Always Love You. 2 decades later, Whitney Houston re-recorded the country classic as Pop Bell, the Bodyguard soundtrack, a verse that sold 24 million copies worldwide. So throughout the late 1970s, as Parton's star began to rise, it was crossed over to the mainstream in the 1980s to the country singer tradition to a movie star with a comedy 9 to 5. She wrote and recorded the theme song, a commercial critical success that peaked at #1 on the chart, won 2 Grammys, earned a Parton her first Academy Awards nominee of the Best Original Song. So the singles also wrote and recorded "Sneaking Around" due with Reynolds for the soundtrack of the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Parton's most dramatic role of the acclaimed Steel Magnolias in 1988, in which she had her own among of the stimulus case of Sally Field, Julia Roberts, Shirley MacLaine, Daryl Hannah, and Olympia Dukes. So musically, she certified herself a pop country crossover artist with Kenny Rogers of the 1983 duo Island of the Stream, which is written by the Bee Gees. It was the first many collaborations of the dynamic duo. Over the course of 3 decades partnership, Kenny and Dolly came together at countless chart toppers that world tours for the television special of the Christmas album. So there was always a danger of being so closely associated with someone that you lose your own identity. Rogers wrote in his 2000 memoir, "Lucky" or something like it, "If you're going to lose mine, I want to lose it with Dolly." So Parton was collaborating with Linda Ronstadt and Emmylou Harris in 1987 trial at the album that top of the chart of won a Grammy of Best Country Music Performance of group. 12 years later, the three united at trial 2 and once again struck Academy Gold, winning Best Country Collabo with the vocals for their cover of Neil Young after the Gold Rush in 2000. On certain of her subsequent albums, Parton put a bluegrass spin onto the hit from the rock joint Collected Soul Shine 2001 Little Sparrow. Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven 2002 Halos and Horns, and Janis Joplin Me and Body G 2005 Where Is Those Days. So at the age 60, Parton released a 42nd album and the first of her very own Dolly record label 2008 Backwood Barbie. So the very day arrived in Nashville in 1964, she struck up a conversation with Carl Dean, a local who ran a drive-through paving business outside the wishy-washy laundromat. 2 years later, they was married. They remarried together for 6 decades until his 2025 death of the age of 82. Despite his wife, Superstring Dean, perform of Quiet Life out the spotlight, he was really seeing people just think I made him up. Parton joked to Dan Rattler in 2024. So the couple never had children, although they was dreaming about it early in the relationship, but it wasn't meant to be. Parton mused the garden in 2014, but I wouldn't have been a great mother, and I think I would probably have give up on everything else, but I was felt guilty about that. If I would left them, everything would be changed, and I probably wouldn't have been a star. I probably would not have been a star. So she ain't got no kids. She have no children with her husband of 59 years. So she's a good, I like her. She wasn't a prejudice. She wasn't a racist. She's standing up with Black Lives Matter. And she has a good heart. She has a good heart. So Dolly Parton, rest in peace to you, and God bless you. And you've been living a long 80 years. And I'm sorry. I am so sorry this happens. Things happen for a reason. Once it's time to go, once it's time to go, it's time to go. God took you. God took you to open arms. She had a wonderful, excellent life. She never, And I ain't seen no evidence she ever drink, smoke, or do no type of drugs. So rest in peace, Dolly Parton. So thank you for watching Reality Talk News.